good afternoon. It's just gone 3:10 Saturday afternoon. This is a match that, we're going to have a quick look at the bracket. This is the Cowboy World Championships in Virtual Pool 4. The winner's side matches are a race to 3 racks. And this match is between Larry from the United States and Acero from Japan. It started about 10 minutes ago, and they're in the first rack. This is a second round match. Larry having got through his first round match against John Boot, and I think Acero beat LS3. Now this should be a good match between these two guys. Both of them certainly think about what they're doing. And, for Virtual Pool 4 and Cowboy, for anybody who hasn't seen it, it is a game that has 3 phases in it. First of all, you lag for break, and whoever wins the lag will decide who breaks, whether they want to break or pass it on to their opponent. Most people break off. And when you break off, you have to hit the 3 ball to start with. You don't have to pot the 3 ball, but you have to hit it. And you can either carom off the 3 ball or pot the 3 ball. And in the first phase, between 0 points and 90 points, in this particular version of the game, you have to pot a ball. You will get the points value of that ball. The next shot that you play must be a carom, and so on and so forth until you get to 90. And then from 90 to 100, the second phase of the game, every shot must be a carom, and you will get 1 point for each carom. And then from when you get to 100, in order to finish the game and win the rack, you have to scratch off the 1 ball. That's the basis of it, but there's a lot more thinking involved in this game. You've got to remember where the ball is going to spot. You've got to remember whether it will spot or not. And you've got to remember what end of the table you're at. And you've also got to think about your next shot that you're going to leave on. So at the moment, we've got Larry at the table. I think this is more or less his first visit, or first real scoring visit. He's on 26. And he's got a straight in pot on the 3. Now if he just rolls through, he should be leaving himself a carom off that 3 onto the 5. Now he's not gone far enough for comfort here. He should have gone a bit further up the table to make it easier for the carom. If he was there, it would have been a lot easier from the carom from the 3 to the 5. So we tried to use the rail, and that's just a little subtle thing that Larry got wrong there. He had to travel further up to make that carom tangent a lot simpler. So Larry's run ends at 29, Acero on 14. He's got a pot and a carom onto the 3 here. So that now means he has an open table for his next shot. He's potted a ball and he's also caromed the ball on his first visit. So now he can either pot a ball, just a plain ball, or he can pot this 5, and if he hits the 1, he's got another pot and a carom, so he still has an open table. Now the best idea here would be to get the 3 on its spot. And if he just drops there off the 3, he doesn't need to travel. He should have a fairly simple carom from the 3 to the 5. Well, he's gone way over to the left, so that tells me he's looking from the carom from the 5 to the 1, but it was simpler just to stop for the 3 to the 5, but whatever you prefer. So Acero's run goes to 15, and he's doesn't like the carom from the 5 to the 1, so he's looking at a carom from the 3 off the rail to the 5. And again, I still think it'd have been better going from the 5 to the 1. The reason I say that is if you play from the 5 to the 1, if you miss the 1 and hit the rail, you've got a better chance of hitting the 1 doing it that way. But this is the thing about Cowboy, it's difficult to predict how a player will see a shot, but there are common shots and common tangent lines that you should be looking for. Now, this is a dangerous shot here. This is a common mistake we all make when you're playing a cannon or a carom from the 5 to the 3. If you hit it too hard, you're going to hit the 3 half ball and you will scratch in either of those 2 corner pockets. But you've got to be gentle. So now Larry's on the pot, and if he finishes somewhere down here, he would have had the 1-5 carom, but he prefers to draw back. See, this is why it's so unpredictable to predict how a player's going to play a shot, because there's lots of different options as to where you can leave the cue ball to leave that next shot. And of course, the other thing you've always got to pay attention to is whether you're on a pot, which that is up there. And I must admit, the actual shot type guide is not very clear. It could have been a lot better. So that is the sign for a type, for a pot, and that is the sign for a carom. That one there, with the sort of more clear balls that you see. But it's not easy to follow that. It could have been done better visually. But acero's visit ends, so now Larry's got a lead, and really the first goal is to try and get to 90 before your opponent does, and that way you can eat into the caroms while he's trying to chase you down. So at the moment, Larry's favourite, as long as he can make a decent contribution here. So now he has a choice. He can carom from the 1 to the 5, he can carom from the 5 to the 3. Whichever he prefers. But he's hit it too straight, and he's failed on the follow through there. And this is where players who don't play Cowboy an awful lot may well lose out on certain shots because they don't practice them an awful lot. Force follow shots are not shots that you generally play in 9-ball a lot. You're usually playing for specific position on a ball rather than generally using a force follow shot. But force follow is what you use a lot in Cowboy. But Larry's back in again. He's been let off the hook. And that's the dangerous one, where you roll through to hit that ball when it's on its spot. You've always got the danger of the scratch. Now here's another force follow shot off the 5 onto the 3. You have to pick the little angle, and again Larry's struggling. You know, I would get that shot 9 times out of 10 because I have played a fair bit of Cowboy in recent months, but you can see that Larry's just struggling to pick that angle, and that's just purely not playing the game. He has not got the hours in this game, and most of the players in this tournament are in exactly the same boat. There's a lot of good players who can pot a ball, but there's also a lot of players who don't have the table time, and it's something that they will pick up as long as they stay in the tournament. But that little lack of practice on the force follow is what's lost Larry a couple of shots there. And Larry could have been maybe on 70 odd or 80 odd at the moment, but as it is, he's just got a 20 odd point lead. And Acero has an open table. He could play a carom from the 3 to the 5 or the 1, or he can go for the pot and the 5. And he's gone from the 5 to the 1 for the carom. And also, the one thing to point out, these are tight pockets. So they are tighter than the normal tournament pockets that we play on, so if you hit a ball offline into these pockets, it is most certainly not going to go in. And now acero is on a pot. Just roll the 5 in. He may roll through and actually hit the 3 here and get the extra point. So he'll get the points value of the 5 ball, plus he'll also get a point for the carom onto the 3 if he just rolls through. Well, he's completely misread the angle there. So acero is struggling as well. The run comes to the end on 16. Larry may well go for the pot. He could go and run the cue ball down into this right corner here. I think he's left enough to play the carom. He could possibly just chip this one away from the pocket. Well, he's actually nudged it in. So Larry trying to build that lead to get to 90. I'll have a quick drink. We can find my bottle. So this is the first match that I've streamed, mainly because as you go deeper into the tournament, particularly on the winner's side, you're going to get players who are much more capable players, so you therefore would expect a higher standard of a match. But it's a little bit intermittent at the moment. There's no heavy scoring, and when it's a pot and a carom, it's not easy, and it's very easy for things to go wrong. So Larry had just a slender lead, 20 odd points. Acero chasing him down, or at least trying to, so he's still got an open table here. He can cut the 5 if he wants. He can pot the 1 or pot the 3, but neither of the 3 of these shots are quite simple. This has to be online, this 5 ball, or it won't go in. Well, that's just the weight of the shot that took it in there. These tighter pockets definitely find you out. And again, acero missing the angle to get the carom. More experienced cowboy players would have got that no problem. As I say, that's just the fact that, you know, cowboy is a popular game, but it's only a popular game with a few of us. Most of these guys are so used to playing 9 ball that when you add this different mixture of shots, and there's particular shots that you need to be well averse to playing, you will play in cowboy that you don't necessarily play very often in other games, and it's really showing up on these guys. They're breaking down fairly rapidly. So once again, acero at the table, pots the 3. He's now on a carom, and that shot that he has there is a simple force follow from the 3 onto the 5. That was much easier to play. And now again he's on a pot, so he wants to be coming across. He's going to come across to this right hand side. Ideally he wants to finish somewhere in there to give him a 1 to the 5. That would be the shot. So it has to be fairly gentle just to drop the ball into this left hand corner. Let's have a look and see what he's got. Well, that's left him far too thin to try the carom to the 5. He has a shot. He could try the carom to the 3. If he plays it with right English, he could go off there and hit that. Well, that's actually a good shot. He's made the angle. He's made the angle. To try and go thin to play that carom would have been far too difficult. So that was a good shot. So acero now only 10 points behind. And there we go. 5 ball is left hanging. And once again, acero just cannot get back onto an even par here. Well, Larry wants to get rid of that 5 ball straight away because that narrows down your chances of a carom, so he has to pot it. If he killed the cue ball stone dead there, he would have the carom from the 3 to the 1. But again, he's played a draw shot when he didn't need to. And now he's not got an easy carom. I mean, he might be able to draw off the 5 towards the 1, but once again he's missed it. The simpler shot with that one was when he potted the 5 to kill the cue ball stone dead in that corner and then play the carom from the 5 to the 1, the 3 to the 1. And now acero has the carom from the 5 to the 3, and he can play it thin. He's got a fair margin of error to hit this 3 ball. Now the shot here would be to either pot that 5 or cut the 3 with not a lot of power to keep the cue ball fairly adjacent, and that is not bad. You can see a lot of players want to play a draw carom, to draw from an object ball to the next ball like that. And now he's left himself, well, he's choosing a difficult 5. I'd be more inclined to cut that 3 ball or even bank the 3 ball. This is not easy on this table, I can assure you. He's played it well though. And now he's got an easy carom from the 1 to the 3. He can use the rail, or he can feather the 1 and just brush the 3. He's got a choice as to how he plays this shot. But more importantly, looking at the score, acero is on 84, and this is where you have to keep your wits about you. But that carom brings him to 85. Now ideally, if he can see the 5, he wants to pot the 5 to take him to 90 exactly. If he gets any more than 90, he loses his run. He has to get 90 exactly. And when the 5 gets respotted, he should have an easy carom from the 5 to the 1, as long as he follows through. And that needs to spin around the corner. And that is pretty good. He's got the false follow shot. You've got to be able to pick that line just to give you that slight angle to run to the left. And not playing it too hard means he's just trying to gather the balls, but that's gone out of shape. So now it's caroms all the way up to 100 for acero, and that makes him favourite to win this first rack. And that was a clever little shot there. He just missed the 5, just tried to brush off the 1 onto the rail and make that hit on the 5. So acero's run comes to an end on 30, and he's only just into the caroms on 91, so Larry still has a chance here, but he really has to get to 90 off this visit. So the pressure's on. Now, let's have a look. Well, that's an easy one. Now, he wants to be sending that 3 down towards the pocket to leave himself a pot, a guaranteed pot. You see, he's not hit that hard enough, so now he's looking to pick off a pot on this 1. Again, I would be more inclined to cut the 1 down the rail rather than potting this at this angle. These are not easy. Well, he's managed to get it, but he's making it hard for himself here. So the other problem now is he's struggling for a carom, and he's looking to come off the rail and across at that 1, or maybe come off the end rail and in behind the 5. Has to get this thin though. So Larry's 6 points behind. He gets the carom, and that's now perfect because he can just pot the 5 to take him on to 90, and now it's anybody's game. Well, he just wants to really draw back into the middle of the table like that, and that leaves him a skim off the 5, off the left side rail and in behind the 3 if he can, playing it with right hand English to help the spin. And this is where the hard work starts, because he's now got no obvious carom. He can skim off that 5 very thin with inside left English to try and straighten the cue ball onto the 3, or he could draw to the side rail onto the 5 off the 3, but then you're sending an object ball running around the table, so this is where it can get tricky. Well, in the end, I think Larry was just desperate not to scratch, and he's now on 91. We've got a level game, but he's conceded control of the table now to acero. Now acero could play this with inside left English, skim off the 5, go to the side rail, and either hit the 3 or come down and hit the 1. That's a shot. You've got to be brave enough to play these type of shots though. Now here he is. Inside left English, punch the cue ball onto the rail to get it to go that way. It gives you a 2-in-1 shot, as we call it in Cowboy, or at least we do in Virtual Pool 4. So he's got a chance of hitting the 3 or hitting the 1 here. But it looks as if he's just trying to be a bit cute here, I think. I don't think he's playing this with inside at all. He's trying to come across, and that was always going to be the problem, the double kiss. I wouldn't have played that shot. I would have went off the rail with inside left. Larry needs to be careful here. Very easy to knock that 1 and scratch. And the 3 ball's going to hang over the pocket, so now we've got 1 less ball to play caroms off, and one of the players is going to have to make a decision as to whether they want to leave that there or take the tactical risk at the right time and pot that 3. It will be a foul, but the 3 at least will be respotted into the middle of the table at the top end. The situation we've got now is they've only got the 2 balls to work with here, and it makes scoring a lot more difficult. That's a nice little shot there by Larry. He's going to try the same again. He might go 2 rails, skim off the one in the left hand side over to the left rail and down into that top right hand corner. He might come right behind it here and he might be okay. Yeah, that's not bad. And this is another dangerous shot to play the carom onto the one here. He's always got that danger of a scratch. But Larry's got a 3-point lead. And it looks as if, at the moment, both players are quite happy to leave the 3 ball there. But the problem for Acero is he's now chasing and he's going to have to work hard if he's going to get back at Larry in this first rack. Now, there's 2 balls in the kitchen, and if there happened to be a scratch, it means that the incoming player can't play any of those 2 balls in the kitchen directly. So there is a time and a place to actually try and get rid of that 3 ball. Larry won't be touching it. He's quite content to work with what he's got there. Just missed a 5. But really, Acero has to make his mind up whether he wants to pot that 3. It wouldn't be a good time to do it now because the 3 ball will respot near that 5 ball at the top half of the table. So it would leave an easier carom for Larry. Again, he can go around the corner here. Round off the 2 rails. And that's a direct hit in the 5. So now the gap is only 2 points. Now it's a fairly easy carom again here off the 1 ball. Onto the side rail and end rail and across to that 5. But Acero wants to go the other way. But he's dangerously pushing that 5 in towards the pocket, doing it that way. If he goes this way, I'll show you if I can get there in time. If he goes that way, with a bit of help in English, he can get the kick that way. And he's hit the line. And that's unlucky. He's just skimmed past it. So that was a much safer shot to play. And Larry's just going to go up and down here, cut that 1 ball to the left rail and just run the cue ball up the table as if he's trying to scratch, but he's got the 1 ball too thick. Now again, there's a couple of ways to play this shot. I like to play this one with inside right English, skim off that side of the 1, push it to the rail, and the cue ball goes around and hits the 5 like that. So play this with inside right English, reasonable bit of pace, and then you punch it around the angles to get to the 5, and that's what he's doing. He's got the inside English, and the double kiss again is always the risk with that shot. You either get away with it or you don't, and that was unfortunate. So Acero knows what he's doing. Still only the 2 points in it, and both players now seem to have made their mind up. They're quite content to work with these 2 balls only, and that looks pretty good. Nice little feather onto the 5, but Larry's next shot is going to be tough because he's hampered by the 5. And again, he can try the thin cut to the side rail, but it's really awkward, and try and skim back up towards the 5. You're always in danger of potting a 5 though, and Larry doesn't like it. Well, now Acero has a straightforward up and down carom if he wants, from the 1 to the 5. Sarah was really trying to be cute there with that one. That was a really touchy-feely shot to get to that 3-ball. And now Larry has a fairly easy carom to the 5. But if he can get these gathered, and that's not bad, he can then get himself to that 100. Now you don't want to reverse bank this 5 into the pocket, so that's why he's played it gentle. So Larry now on 98. Well, this is not easy to pick the carom here. Again, Larry deciding he's not risking any scratches. He's going to protect his points, which is a sensible thing to do. Bearing in mind that the 3 balls hanging over this bottom left-hand corner pocket, it means that Acero's got a heck of amount of hard work ahead here to try and chase Larry down. He's trailing by 5. Now, there are certain strategies in Cowboy that a lot of players don't use, particularly when they are chasing down. Well, now we've got a problem, so somebody's going to have to pot a ball here to get the game open again. And Larry's not going to be the one that does it. He's going to leave that up to Acero. And Acero is going to have to pot the 1 right now. He can't, if he pots the 3, he's going to leave Larry a carom from the 3 to the 5. He has to pot the 1 and leave the cue ball where the 1 ball is if he can, but he's not doing it. And I don't think that's a wise move. He really needs to pot that 1 and get it into play. Well, he's played the carom, and well, that's a miracle that the 3 ball hasn't dropped. He gets a point for it, but he's certainly not going to get much more. He's still looking at this 3 ball. He should be potting the 1. He needs to get the 1 in play, because if Larry somehow manages to score something, it's very unlikely, because you know, if you touch any of these balls, they're going to go in. But Acero is not going to do anything the way these balls are lying at the moment. But then it now comes down to tactics here, and this is where you have to be clever and be fully aware of what's going on to try and protect yourself and keep yourself in the game, especially when you're trailing by 4 points. And Larry and Acero aren't prepared to make a move. And until one of them does, nothing's going to happen. Once again, you have to take a risk, and Acero has to pot that 1 ball and get it in play if he's going to give himself any chance. But again, he's just not prepared to do it. I can assure you, if I was playing this game, I would have potted the 1 a while ago. Especially if I'm chasing my opponent down. Acero's worried about, obviously, Larry getting his next carom and maybe another 2 and then having a chance to scratch. But it's a bit of a stalemate if neither of the 2 of them are prepared to make that move. And once again, Larry has a chance. He's going to really struggle to get any points here. Virtually no chance. And it's double the problem when you've got two players and neither of them are prepared to give and play a more positive shot to get the game up and running again. Because the way this is going, it's going to go absolutely nowhere for a half an hour if neither of them are prepared to do it. And if you put the object ball, in this case the 5 ball, towards a corner pocket, it obviously makes a carom a lot easier if someone then does decide to pot the 1 or the 3, or maybe fouls it by mistake and knocks it in. Well, again, Acero's looking at the 1, but he just seems not prepared to do it. At last, we've had a positive move. Now, Acero has chosen to pot the 1. That's a foul. So he's on 1 foul, and this game is 3 fouls and you lose the game. He's conceded an opportunity for Larry to get a carom. Larry's missed it. So Acero now has a choice. He can try and get a carom from the 5 to the 1, or he could be really brave and pot the 3, but that's dangerous because that 5 ball is in the wrong, the 1 ball is in the wrong place. It's too close to the middle pocket, and if Larry got his couple of caroms, he would have been easy out off that 1. Well, the double kiss has worked here. I don't know whether he played for that, but it has worked. And now Acero, now can he get the force follow? I don't think he can do it that way. He needs to go off the side rail, and it needs to be fairly gentle to try and keep the 1 ball up at that end of the table. A little bit of right English, and that's not bad. He's got a little feather on the 5, and now we're only 2 points in it, and Acero, if he's going to play the carom from the 1 to the 5, he's going to push the 1 down towards us. In this game, you've really got to take a risk. But the one tactic in this game, the way it is at the moment, if you're chasing, the one tactic to try in this game is to try and get these other 2 balls, the 5 and the 1, down into the kitchen. And if you can get them down into the kitchen, you can then pot that 3 ball, and if possible, scratch off it as well. And that gives your opponent ball in hand. But the problem is, the incoming player only has the 3 ball to play to. He cannot carom any of the 2 balls in the kitchen directly. He has to go off that 3 ball if it was respotted. Again, this is why you have to be aware of the tactics to try and keep yourself in the game. And that'd be one tactic, to try and get the 2 balls down into the kitchen and then play a deliberate foul. Well, that wasn't a good shot by Acero. Dangerous bringing that 1 ball back up the table. And Larry looking to draw off the 1, maybe hit the 5 directly or go off the rail onto the 5. And he's got it. And now he's on 99. He can go off the 1 again onto the 5. Not too hard. Try and keep them close. And now he's got a draw from the 1 to the 5. Has to be careful he doesn't pot the 1 though. And he doesn't want to try and pot the 5. Well, anyway, he's on 100, isn't he? So he's trying to skim into the middle. I'm getting carried away myself. This is about just picking that tangent line off the 1 ball to let that cue ball roll to the middle pocket. Got it too thick. Had to be thinner than that. This is now where acero has to be wise. If he's, you see, the danger there is he's going to be playing the 1 ball. Now, is he playing the 1 ball to get it safe onto a rail, or is he trying the carom? He's gone for the carom. And again, the 1 ball is in a dangerous place. And the safest thing to do here for acero would be to push the 1 towards the 3 like that. And then it's, you know, very difficult to get a scratch, because obviously that's the blocking ball. But acero's not thinking. He's going all out to try and make the carom onto the 1. He's got it, and that was brave. And now he has the chance to draw into the middle pocket or to follow through to steal this rack. Well, it's going to be a forced follow into the middle, and this is not simple. Got to pick that line again. Yeah, difficult to read. Now, where's the 1 ball going? Well, that's a disaster. Now, can Larry get in off that? Well, he could try and sneak in behind the 1. But I think the 1 ball's in the way here. The 1 ball, I don't think will go out the way. He's not got any room to work with here at all to try and follow that in. The angle's not right. Well, that's clever, because now acero is hooked behind the 5, and that is using your head. And this is where the tactics of Cowboy will play a big part, provided you're thinking about what you're doing. And acero has got, well, virtually no chance of getting out from where he is right now. Now, acero as well, Larry's in 1 foul. Acero can also play wisely. He can just play into the corner if he wants and not try to get to the 1, and then he will be in 1 foul. Well, you see, he's now given Larry a free shot here, the scratch into the bottom right hand corner. And I think acero would have been better just to play the deliberate foul and roll into the corner behind the 5. And that was probably not a wise move there by acero. You've got to play within the rules of the game. And acero, with a deliberate foul there, would have only been on 1 foul. Larry was already in 1 foul. And as it is, he's given Larry a free shot here to get out. And this is a pretty good example of where you're thinking correctly. And I have to say, acero wasn't there. He played a genuine shot and a genuine attempt to hit the 1 when it was not the wisest of moves. Well, they might not come any easier than that one. It wasn't a gimme, but Larry himself now has sold the rack here, I think, to acero. This is fairly simple. And in it goes. And acero has managed to pinch the rack. He was chasing all the way. And he wins by the 1 point. And we're off into rack number 2. but better use of the fouls in that situation there. That could have all turned out badly for acero. As it is, he was gifted the chance to win it there, but he really should have played the deliberate foul up in that right hand top corner pocket. Just leave the cue ball somewhere behind the 5 and leave Larry in the similar problem. But the problem there is Larry was already in 1 foul, and acero could have used that to his advantage. So Larry with the first chance, he's off and running. And a gentle carom from the 5 to the 3. Still hoping he's left a shot for his next one. And he can roll the 3 in. Again, he's left himself the dangerous shot. It's always better when the balls are spotted, you're always better to have the cue ball somewhere down there or there to make your caroms easier, rather than from here and here to try and go a carom to a ball there, because you've always got a risk of scratching. And this shot as well, Larry's going to pot the 1. Well, he's looking at the 5. The 1's still in a good position there. Use that. The 1's in a good position for a carom in a corner. It's always a good position to be. But he's going to have to try and run it off the 5. And with this shot, he maybe needs a bit of inside left English just to check the cue ball off the rail. The shot is on, but you have to sometimes play this with a bit of inside left just to straighten the cue ball up to make that point. Yep, he didn't get, I don't think he put any inside left on there. And that would have straightened it and made the angle easier to get to the 1. So Larry now, his run ends on 30. And now see if acero can respond. Well, he's got an easy carom to start with, but if he pots the 1, he's still got that easy carom after potting the 1. Well, he's let the cue ball run, so now he's got the open table, having hit the 5. Well, this is a big advantage for Larry if he can score again, because when you come to the table and you've got a reasonable lead, it's always good to drive that home by getting another decent run and get yourself a hefty lead. And this is a perfect opportunity for Larry to add another 20 or 30 points here if he can. Now he can skim off the 3 onto the rail and behind the 5. Well, he's actually hit it directly. And now the 3 ball is in not a good position. It's now been driven to the rail. Now Larry's next shot should really be potting that 3 and getting it off the rail. The 5 is there to be potted, but He can also pot the 5 as long as he leaves a good carom onto that 3, because you really have to get that 3 away from that rail and get it into play. And that looks okay. Little gentle nudge onto the 3. And now he can pot the 3, but he's actually knocked to 5 safe now. So cut the 3 down into the pocket, and maybe a bit of inside English to stay up that top end of the table. That would be the shot. What you want to do is cut that 3 with inside English so the cue ball goes that way. He's potted the 1. So it's either the force follow to the 3 or the cut from the 1 onto the 5. And it should have been more like the force follow on that shot. So Larry's second visit, or second scoring visit, only gets him 17. Has a 45-point lead, or a 40, whatever it is. 45, yeah. But it could have been more. When acero was trying to get that cue ball to come down the right there to try and hit the 3, get that extra point, but also get the 3 more into play. Well, it's another bonus here for Larry. Acero has only got 1 point from that visit. Oh, now he's looking to play the thin cut. But it still needs to stay the top side there if he can. And that will do. He's also got the carom onto the 5. So now he should be off and running. Open table, remember, after that first visit. He made the pot and he made the carom, so he can play either a carom or a pot in his next shot. And now the force follow through onto the 1. And the ball to pot here is the 3, not the 1. If you pot the 3, you stay up that top end of the table and you can work off the 3 in and around the 1. That's the ball he should be potting. If you play the 5, you have to go this bottom end of the table, and then you're looking to play a shot off the 5 to the 1 or the 3. But potting the 3 keeps him up the top end, and he should have an easy skim off that 3 onto the 1 with a little bit of right hand English, possibly. Let's have a look. Yeah. And again, the shot is to pot the 3 and keep the 1 there. And then just roll through, and he should have another carom. If he rolls through a bit too far, he'll have a shot from the 5 to the 1, so he's got a couple of options here. Maybe the angle's not right. Well, he can play this with a bit of inside left just to go up the table slightly if he wants, but ideally he wants to run through there somewhere. Well, he's looking now to pot the 1 and leave the 5 to the 3 to the 5. That's not a bad idea either, or the 5 to the 1, whichever he prefers. And he's come back in the inside there. And it's so vital that Larry keeps this run going just to build up that heavy lead and get to 91st and start eating into those caroms if he's going to get himself back into this match. Trailing by 1 rack to 0. First rack ended with a 1 point win for acero, and Larry's run almost come to an end, but he got the little fluke, and they all count in this game. So the run is now on 20 on a pot. Well, he wanted to, ideally, if he'd ran through further there to about there, he would have had the easier carom from the 5 to the 1. Had to get to the rail with that shot there. Now he's having to use the rails, which is another thing that a lot of players are not prepared to do in Cowboy. You know, Larry's been around the game long enough playing virtual pool to know how to use the rails, and that's always in his armoury. Now, how is that looking? That's not bad. Fairly straightforward carom onto the 3. Oh, he's missed it by a country mile, got it too thick. So Larry's run definitely comes to an end on 27. And, well, acero can easily eat into that deficit if he gets a run going. It's more than possible. So he gets a pot and a carom, and now he has an open table, but he's got nothing very inviting here. There is nothing easy. And he's went with the inside English again. One of my favourite shots, using the rails. And he still has the open table because he made the pot as well. And he can make this 5 and get another carom here and still have an open table. So again, open table, pot or a carom, whatever he prefers. Well, if he can start working around this 5 ball, he'll start eating into the points a lot more. He could be looking to pot the 5 and come around the angles in behind the 3. That's a good shot. So acero started off on 3 points there. He's now on a run of 25. And that's what you don't want to do. Lock yourself onto a ball. And he's looking to play a carom. It's going to be a draw this time. Draw off the 1, off the 3 onto the 5. And now the force follow. 5 to the 1. And that's actually good as well, because the, let's have a look, make sure the 1 is actually the spot. Yes, it is, because it's well away from the 5 on the kitchen line there. So he's now got the 1, just a dead weight shot if he wants to leave an easy carom. Well, he wanted to actually hit that a bit softer, but he's okay. And again, a gentle 1. Maybe just nudge that 5 towards the middle pocket. Not too hard. If he's careful here, he'll then have the pot and the 5. And now, with this shot, you want to be running through, and again, somewhere down there to be able to play the carom while he's holding it square. This is always a dangerous one. If you hit this too hard, you hit it half ball off the 3, you can scratch. And he's chickened out a wee bit there. But the run ends on 41 and he's still trailing by 30. And, well, Larry now really needs to get to 90 off this visit to give him a good chance of getting this match back all square. So he really has to, that's his main objective, get to 90. Now, was that a little carom as well? Yes, it was. So still an open table. And of course, the other thing Larry needs to remember is that he is getting close to 90, so he has to be careful he doesn't make a mistake. Got to get to 90 exactly. So that 5 ball takes him on to 83. Easy carom from the 3 to the 5. But again, he's way off. Far too much draw into that rather than stun. And he's fell short of where he should have been there. That's a bad one. And it's given Acero the chance to eat into the deficit again. Oh, Acero has missed again another easy one. Big margin of error to hit that 1 ball there. So surely this time Larry will get to 90. That 3 ball takes him to 86. And now the carom from the 3 to the 1. And that takes him to 88. Well, the next carom should be the 5 to the 3 after this shot. So this carom to take Larry evenly on to 90. And now he's going to have to make a shot this time because there's nothing sitting in a good position here. He could go thin off the 1, but the danger is actually potting the 1 by mistake here. And he's played it well. And he's now got a much easier next shot. Well, he could go thin off the inside of the 1 ball. That's one option. If he goes thin off there, he can come down and try and make the carom to the 5. Or if he gets it wrong, he might hit the 3. The 3 ball instead. So it's a 2-in-1 shot. But he's going the other way. Just missed it. So Larry on 92. Acero isn't out the game yet. That's the beauty about Cowboy. As long as you can make a decent scoring visit, you can get yourself right back into the game. And that's exactly what Acero needs right now. Larry's only in 92. He's not deep into the caroms, so Acero needs to score here. And that's going to drop in behind the 5. And that should give him a fairly simple carom to follow. And he's also got another simple carom to follow once he pots the 5. Just needs to draw up the table slightly. I think the 5 might be in the way here. Let's have a look. Well, he can push the 5 onto the 3, but still make the carom onto the 1 here. That's okay. And now the shot to play is to pot the 3 and get the cue ball down here somewhere, because he can then still play a carom from the 3 to the 1, but he really needs to get the cue ball round about here somewhere down. If he can get below the 5, that would be a bonus. That's pretty good. He can stun the 3 and carom to the 5, or he can feather the 3 and just brush on to the 1. So he's got 2 choices here, whichever he's comfortable with. Well, he's playing, looks as if he's playing a draw. No, he's playing a soft draw. It still gets the job done. Well, again, the shot this time is to pot the 3 and leave yourself an angle somewhere over here. I mean, ideally, well, that's okay. He has to get this on the right side of the 5. If you get it on the left side, there's the danger of scratching. And that will do. The 5 going in as a bonus. So this time, the shot is to pot the 1 and get the 1 in the spot and stay at the bottom end of the table. He's looking to cut the 3 though, but I would have been potting the 1. Once again, this is dangerous. Got to watch the power on this shot. And that's the right pace. Don't take any risk of the scratch. So Acero now has visit on 27. Takes him to 76. And, well, that needed to go further to play the straight carom. He can go off the 5 onto the rail, maybe 2 rails, and kick the 1 if he doesn't kick it direct. Oh, he's just skimmed the back end of it there. Yeah, it would be good to pot the 3 because the cue ball's coming down the table towards us, and it still gives you an option from the 5 to the 3, provided he doesn't run into the 5. Well, he's run into it, so now it's not as simple. In fact, oh dear, now I'm too busy commentating. I'm forgetting to look at the score, and Acero has totally taken his eye off the ball as well, and he's gone over 90, so his run is lost, and that could be crucial. So Acero has lost all his points in that visit, and it's given Larry a free go here, although he's got nothing easy. And that's the penalty you pay when you get so engrossed in actually playing your shots and you forget how the score is going. And that could be a massive mistake there by Acero. And Larry, again, nothing easy here. Trying to go off the 2 rails onto the 3. Is it going to clip it? That's a good shot. Use the 3 rails, come in behind the 3. And Acero will be kicking himself. And that's a nice one. And now he's now in good position here. Has a choice of 5 to 3 or 5 to the 1. Ideally, the 5 to the 3 is a better shot, because if he nudges that 5 to the end rail, it will come towards that 1. Well, he's hit it gentle. He actually needed to hit that a wee bit harder. He's still okay. He's still got that 3 to the 5. But again, a gentle 1 would be nice to try and keep the balls fairly close. Well, looking at the 1 to the 5 now. And now Larry's in a very strong position. Got to be careful he doesn't pot the 5 though. But he didn't play the 5, going from the 3 to the 1. Now, this is where you have to get a wee bit lucky. If you make the carom to the 1, you've just got to hope the 1 stays in play somewhere to give you an easy out shot. And well, it could have been easier, shall we say. So Larry's looking to either come off the 1 and go into that pocket there. That looks like the one option he has. The other one is to come off it, and he's called this pocket here, I think. So he's looking to go off the end rail, somewhere near that middle diamond. Yeah, very difficult to pick that shot out. So Acero with a lot to do in this rack. If he's going to get back at Larry. So the pot and the 3 and the carom gives him the open table. And he'll pot the 1 and he'll carom the 5 as well. And it will still remain open. And it's still open. The 3rd pot and carom in a row. And the 4th in a row. But now he's got no easy pot. And he's left it. And that's always a danger. He's left Larry the force follow off the 1 into the middle pocket. I wonder if Larry's connection's holding up here. No signs of life. Oh, there we are. But it should be the force follow into the middle pocket. This to tie the match up at 1 rack all. And in it goes. Well, in the end, it was a comfortable win in that rack, but it could have been oh so different. Acero making the mistake that we all make and going over the score on 90 when he was on a decent run and lost all his points. And in the end, it was asking too much to try and chase Larry down, and Larry squares the match. It's alternate break in this tournament. So it's Acero with his first visit. So this match started at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and it's now just coming up to 4:25. So this match has played 2 racks in 90 minutes, more or less. Well, Acero is in a bit of trouble here with this shot because he's blocked off, I think, on the pot, on the one, so he's trying to thin this 5 into the middle. And he's avoided the scratch. But now he has got no easy carom. He can play the draw off the 5 and get that cue ball into this bottom left hand corner and try and draw into the 1. Doesn't look like that's what he's played though. Well, I don't know what shot he saw there, but that certainly wasn't it. It looked a lot easier to draw off that 5 and spin the cue ball into the bottom rail and in towards the 1. It was a strange shot. But Acero's visit ends just on 24. And Larry misses the pot but gets the carom. Well, he wants to just spin off to the right here off this 1 ball and get the cue ball back over to the left. The further it goes, the better. It needs to keep running. And that will do. Gives him a simple enough carom from the 5 to the 3. And now all the balls back on their spots. And he has the... Well, this again is a force follow to the 1. It's very thin to be making the carom, I think. Well, he's got it. Maybe it was a wee bit thicker than I thought. Not being behind the shot makes it a bit more difficult for me to judge the shot that he's actually going to play, but he played it okay. Well, the shot now is to pot the 5, but you really want to be running through off this 5. He's stunned it stone dead to leave the carom. And again, it has to be gentle. Not risk the scratch. Good afternoon. I think you're the only one watching this anyway, WizKid. Nobody else has said anything. So Larry goes into the lead by 5 points. Yeah, I forgot this match was on. I just popped in and saw the room was up. I just missed the start of the match, but we've been going for 90 minutes now. Dead on 90 minutes. Larry's run now goes to 34. Once again, if he pots the 3, the cue ball over to the right hand side, and that should give him the carom from the 3 to the 5. That looks pretty good. An easy carom from the 3 on to the 5. Yeah, they're not short, are they? What we talking about? You've lost me with that one. Or what did I say? Did I say something? Little delicate pot in the 1 here. And that cue ball needed to run up past the diamond there. And Larry's still got a carom. Or the matches. Well, it depends who's playing though. I mean, that's a couple of racks gone by in 90 minutes. Whereas there's some guys it takes them 90 minutes to get a rack done. And Larry's run now goes to 40. And I now have a choice of shots, 5 to the 3 or 3 and on to the 1. Well, he's got himself in a very good position here, scoring wise. And he wants to be able to keep those points though. Doesn't want any mishaps. And potting the 5 leaves him the easy one from the 1 to the 3. Now again, another simple carom. Well, this is more like the standard that we want to see in this tournament. Larry's run goes to 56. Well, he's going to have to take a wee risk here. He can either go off the end rail or stun directly to the 3. He's played the stun. Always dangerous. But he set the 1 and 5 up for a carom. And his next shot, he just needs to roll the 3 in. Well, it's all looking good at the moment for Larry in this rack, as long as he can keep this run going and not lose his points. And this is the one that has to be gentle. He'll push the 1 towards the bottom rail, but he'll not risk the scratch. Well, that did risk the scratch. He's got away with it though. Knocked the 1 in as well. The run goes to 70. Needs to get that cue ball out into the table. Anywhere in and around the 1 ball would be fine to leave him a set up for his next carom. it's going to be another thin one. This time the risk of the scratch is diminished because the three's further up the table. And again, this is a little awkward pot. He just needs to not let the cue ball get away. Doesn't want to risk going anywhere near a pocket. Well, if he hits this firm enough, he's got the cue ball into the middle of the table. He's got the draw either off the 5 to the 1 or from the 1 to the 5. And now he's got problems. He's looking for a pot. Now what does he do? Does he take the risk or does he just protect his points? He's looking to call the bank on the 3 ball. Not bothered if it goes in or not, as long as he doesn't lose his points, and that's a good run. The run ends on 82. And now it's all in the hands of Acero. I'll type it. I'll type nice run, Larry. So Acero, with it all to do, he has to eat into the deficit. Oh, he's hung the 3, but he had an open table, so he's okay. Well, I would be potting the 3 anyway, because he's got an easy carom from the 5 to the 3 to follow. And that run of Larry's could well remain one of the longest runs in the tournament. Acero, his visit goes to 19. He's still trailing by, what's that? I can't count. Is that 39 points or something like that or whatever? And Acero now will be really focused to try and keep his game together to make a substantial visit here, and he definitely needs it. Can see by the way he's setting himself up here, he's really focused to make this a good run if he can. Wants to get across the table here or drop in behind the 5 if he's going to leave the 5-1. Well, he's probably just as well playing the 5-3 as well off this. He's got the choice. But a little gentle one off the 5, and that'll leave the next carom. Because he can roll the 1 in, and he'll have the 5 to the 3. He's looking at the 5. I think he's more focused on getting the points off this 5. Sometimes that's not the wisest of moves. He'd be better potting the 1 and leaving an odds-on carom from the 5 to the 3, and that's the right shot. Sometimes a lot of players are drawn towards the 5 because it's got the most points, but you know, very often it's not the right shot to leave your next shot, if you know what I mean. Now again, pot the 3 and get that cue ball up the table. If he pots the 3 and gets the cue ball up here, he's got the easy carom when the 3's respotted towards the 5. Well, he's gone below it. Now, how good is that below it? Well, that's not particularly great. He wanted to be up here for that shot rather than below it. Makes it more difficult. And he's managed to catch the edge of the 5. And now the 5 is sort of dead in the water line on the rail, but it's still there for a carom once this 3 ball is respotted. Cue ball needs to go out to the right here. Well, he's going to go off the end rail. I don't know whether he's going to try and draw to it, but the end rail and then into the 5 looks like the shot. Oh, he's just put too much spin on it. I think he's missed it. Yeah. So Acero's run ends on 43, and he's still trailing. And Larry should be into the caroms by the end of this visit. He wants to be potting that 5 to start with, get it back into play. Oh dear. Well, Larry's misjudged that one. Got it all wrong. Well, this is a bonus for Acero. Larry scoring nothing on that visit. And now this rack is anybody's if Acero can get himself into the lead. Well, there's the shot I've been talking about all game. Is hitting the shot off that 5 ball to either the 3 or the 1, and if you hit it too hard, you're going to hit the other ball half ball, and you're going to scratch, and that's exactly what happened. So Acero's just sold himself down the river there with that one. He's fallen into the trap. It's a mistake that everybody who plays Cowboy will make time and time again. And he had far too much power on it, and it's always going to go half ball straight into the pocket. And this rack has turned on its head in the last 2 shots. Acero had the chance to eat into the lead with Larry not scoring in his last visit. But as it is, Larry definitely looking to get to 90, but he's only going to be able to pot the 1 here unless he gets some sort of carom on another ball. But he could let the cue ball run and take the risk. Or he could leave it short like this and play the 1 to the 5. Well, he's missed a 1. And Larry's taken his eye off the ball twice in the last 2 visits. And Acero's getting all the chances he wants. But can he take advantage this time? Acero going for the carom to the 5, and he's missed it. Doesn't matter though. He's got the 5 to the 1. Now he's got to roll the 5 in and go top side. He needs to follow this up the table. The further up the table, the better. Now, what's he done? Let's have a look. Well, he can go the force follow, push that 5 around the angles and run through towards the 1. He's going off the rail. And that takes him to 75. Now, will Acero get to 90 before Larry? And Larry's had 2 good chances to get there, and he's failed. He's really let him off the hook here. And Acero as well, bear in mind what happened in the last rack when he had that good run and then went over the 90. He didn't get to 90 exactly and blew it. He needs to keep his eye on the scoreboard. That's going to go round behind the 1. And so Acero, his run is only 13. And surely this time Larry can get to 90. Well, he's missed a 5, but he's got the bonus ball. The 3 line in the bottom rail. So now Larry's on caroms to 100. And his first one is not going to be easy. He could play the stun. A firm stun from the 5 to the 1. And that actually worked out quite nice, because if he'd hit that full in the face, he could have potted the 1. Just brushed it and no more. Well, if he's going from the 5 to the 3, he needs to be careful he doesn't pot the 5. The angle to actually get to that 3 may well have meant the 5 would have potted. So Larry's into the 90s, but only 91. And Acero with a good chance here to take the lead. He's trying to go inside to try and brush one of these balls and pot the 3. Well, he's missed the 3, but he's got the carom. That's what matters. Well, this it could be either a draw from the 5 to the 1, which is not easy, but it could also be the force follow. It looks as if he's going to go off the rail here. No, managed to pinch the angle. Going to have to pull off a good shot here. And he's only really got the 3 as his option for the pot. But he's on 85. Now, is Acero watching that scoreboard? We're about to find out. That takes him to 88. And now he can stun onto the 1. Well, that's the danger. He stunned it far too hard, and he's back to 5, and would you believe it, he's gone over the score again. And this is like deja vu from the last rack. And Acero has lost his points from that visit. He's back to 80. And Larry using the rails. And is that going to squirt round behind? No, he's got the little touch. That's the way to use the rails in Cowboy. And this time he sneaked out. So once again, for the third time, Larry's only got the 1 point, and Acero's getting every chance he can to chase Larry down here. It's anybody's game, this one. Needs to keep rolling. I think he's okay. Well, this time he's going to have to be careful, because if he pots the 5 trying to make this carom, he's going to be over 90 again. And he's wise, played it gentle. Well, Acero's visit is only 6, and that isn't good enough, I'm afraid. He really should have been in the lead after that visit. Well, Larry's freed up the 5 off the side rail, and now it's locked to the end rail. Now, is he going to try and stun along the rail? Yes, he is. Just feathered it. Where's the 3 ball going? Now, can he play the draw directly off the 3 onto the 5? Maybe not. Don't think the angle's good. Now he's trying to come off the 2 rails and just in behind the 5. Almost got there. And it's yet another chance. Larry's just scored the 2 caroms there. So it's still open as to who's going to win this rack. The crucial one that will take them into the lead. And this time he can get into the 5, no problem. This will take him to 90. Well, it needs to be a thin feather on this 3 if he's going to try and brush onto the 1. He'll be pushing that 3 ball towards the middle pocket. I think that's why he's avoiding that idea. And that was a nice little shot. Same problem with this shot as well. If he plays the carom from the 3 to the 1, he needs to be careful he doesn't pot the 3. Well, now he's got either... He's going to try and brush the 3 and go down either off the end rail and in behind the 5. Or he's just trying to roll through it. And that's a nice shot. Little stun. With just that forward momentum to let the cue ball roll to the 5. And that takes Acero to just 1 point behind. 2 rails. And that's another nice one. Well, this could be the stun to the left side rail with right English. Or it could be the stun from the 3 to the end rail with a bit of help in English to get to the 5. He needs to watch he doesn't bank the 5 though. That might get there. Not quite. The match is all square. 1 rack all. 94 points all in rack number 3. And Larry's got a fairly easy starter here. He wants to be playing this reasonably firm, I would think. Well, he's missed a 5. The reason I say that is to get the 3 ball up the table. But Larry's missed a 5. That looked fairly simple. And acero has had a go and he's scratched. Now the difference that makes is that Larry's got ball in hand. The 1 is out of the kitchen, so Larry can play off that 1 ball to make the carom onto the 3. Had that 1 ball been in behind the kitchen line, Larry couldn't play directly at this 1 ball, but he's okay. Well, he almost squirted out behind that 3 there. He's managed to get away with it. And this needs to be gentle. A feathered light touch just to brush the 1 and not pot the 5 like that. And Larry isn't listening. Commentator's eye saw that coming a mile away. And that was the old rookie shot that everybody plays in Cowboy. And so we are back all square. 94 points all. Well, if that just comes out behind a 3, which it has, now acero he could potentially get a 2-pointer here, but he's not risking it. And now he's in a bit of trouble because there's nothing adjacent here for a carom. So he's going to have to use the rails. And that's worked out not too bad because he's now landed on the 1. And a 1-5 carom looks pretty good to me. So Larry now on 97. Oh, he's going to squat round and miss it. Just didn't quite have the line there. But acero has got nothing easy. Now he could play a 2-in-1 shot here. Off that 1 with a fair bit of power and draw and spin to try and come around. And if you miss the 1, you have a chance of hitting the 3. That's one way of doing it. The only problem is that the 5 ball starts rolling around and you've got a chance of the double kiss. Well, he sees another way of doing it, and it looks like the draw. And of course, he's banked the 1, potted it. He's drawn onto the 3, potted it. And he's lost his points. And Larry's back in. The shot I showed you there was the shot to play because that was a 2-in-1 shot around the angles to give you a chance of hitting 1 or either of those balls at this end of the table. But like a lot of players, they are drawn like magnets into playing the draw shot. And all he had set up there was a direct bank on the 1 and draw straight onto the 3 and then potted both of them. But Larry gets no score, and acero is not dead and buried yet in this rack. If he can make the most of this chance. Now, how close is he to that 5? Well, that's fine. Ideally, he wants to skim off this 3 ball if he can and try and go the other side of it, somewhere over there. Yeah, he's got it full in the face, but he can go 2 rails off the 3 onto the 5, or the other way as well if he wants. Might be 2 rails or 3 rails here. Well, he's playing it dead weight, and that was never going to get there. So just 1 point in it. And Larry can play the same shot with a bit more power to get the cue ball across, and he's just come out behind. So yet another chance for Acero. Now, can he make the carom without potting this 3? Provided he pushes it to the jaw. Yeah, that's what was worrying him there. He was just being careful not to get any pace into the 3 ball. And he's gifted Larry a chance here. And Larry's played it well. A little nudge of the 3 in the direction of the 1. Always makes your next carom easy. That takes Larry to 99. Now, again, if Larry plays this gentle from the 1 to the 5, he'll knock the 1 too far away. He wants to keep the 1 in play so he can get the outshot. So he has to use the spin to get to the 5, and that's actually pretty good. Because now he's got the in off into the bottom right or into the bottom left, whichever angle he likes better. And he's chose the bottom left. So this for a 2-1 lead as the match just goes on the 2-hour mark. Give or take a minute or 2. This for 2-1. Oh, these tight pockets, you've got to be accurate. So now Acero has to be in the defensive mode. He's going to go for the first carom here from the 1 to the 5, but he needs to again watch he doesn't pot the 5. And he's come in behind it, which was a wise move. But that 1 ball is not in a good place. If he misses this carom and this cue ball travels, he would have left Larry a fairly easy out, and it's still in an even more dangerous place. And Acero needs to be thinking here, if he's putting so much pressure on himself to try and get a carom here, and if he misses it, Larry's got an easy out off the 1, hanging over the middle pocket. You've got to play that 1 if you can't get the carom. But he's played a great shot and he's dug out the carom, but it was probably not the wisest of moves. I don't think I would have risked it. But sometimes you do have to risk. But it was a brave shot, and he's still got that 1 over the middle pocket. And now he's looking from the 5 to the 3 with the danger of pushing the 3 in here. Is that going to reach? Is it going to get there? Yes, it is. Well, it's actually worked out perfect for Acero. He wouldn't move the 1. He's managed to pull off the caroms, and now he's got the easiest of scratches to go into the lead. Well, how that works out is just showing using your bravery to play the caroms and getting them. But it was such a high risk run there that Acero made. Those 5 points that he scored were really risky, and he took the risk and he got the reward. And sometimes that's what you have to do. I'd have been desperate to get rid of that 1 ball from that middle pocket, but Acero managed to get the job done, and he stole the rack from Larry right under his nose, and Larry's missed the carom, and it's a quick visit. It's only 3 points. Well, we've now got a perfect situation here for acero with a 2 racks to 1 lead. Larry just sitting there on 3 points, and acero has the table at his mercy. If he can get a hefty score in here, that would put the pressure on Larry. The 1 ball spot is out the kitchen. If you have ball in hand and the 1 ball's on its spot and you're in the kitchen, you can play off the 1 or pot the 1 as long as it's on its spot. Well, acero's visit ends on just 24, and that doesn't put the pressure on. Choice is either or here. Pot the 5, leave the 5-3 carom, pot the 1, leave the 1-5 carom. Fairly gentle shot here, so he finishes on the low side of the 3 unless he wants to run up the table, but he's leaving it gentle for the low side, so he's got the easy carom off that 3 onto the 5. Is it going to squirt in behind? Oh, the spin spun it back the way. So now Larry, the run on 20. Well, Larry needs something matching his run that he had in that previous rack. The run of 82. He needs to be getting something substantial. Well, he could cut the 1 and just let the cue ball run up and down the table. He'd be really unlucky not to leave himself the carom from the 3 to the 5 or from the 5 to the 3. But he's gone across, and that's good enough. Run goes to 38. Right, see you later. Thanks for joining. Is it the firm stun from the 5 to the 1? He needs to avoid the 5 ball. It can come back off that real quick. Oh, he's went from the 1 to the 5. That was a better move. Still has a pot though. Either the 1 or the 5. 5 is an easier shot. Cue ball back over to the right, and he should have his next carom to follow. So the run now goes to 49. And this is a dangerous one. This is always the one you've got to be careful with pace. Just got to brush it. Because the cue ball is going to track to the pocket, and he's got lucky. Any more pace than that, and it would have went into the pocket. Just hung in the jaws. Well, the force follow from the 5 to the 3 looks fairly straightforward to me. Larry not really keen on it by the looks of it. That looks about the angle. Just to get that top and running onto the 3. Well, now it's cueing over the 3 ball, just to roll that one in and get the cue ball down onto the bottom rail. Just let it run through. Oh, well, first of all, he's not run through far enough, and he's hung up the 1. So Larry's run ends on 54. A 33-point lead over Acero. Now it must be well into the morning, Acero's time. Acero's in Japan, and it's 10 past 5 at night here, so they're about, I think Tokyo's about 8 hours in front of myself, so that would be about 1 AM in the morning there. It must be, it can't be far off that. I'd have been more inclined to get that 3 ball back in its spot there. He's left himself no easy shot here to get the carom. He's a big stunt. He looks as if he's going off the end rail in behind the one. Now this is a bit awkward. Out of shape here for an ideal carom, so looking to use the rail. He's just skimmed past the 5, and Acero's run of 38 comes to an end, and he's got a very slender 5-point lead. And Larry on 57 has really got to set his sights on getting to 90 in this visit. He has to score. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Right, I am back. So Larry on 81, Acero on 62, but the more important score is that Acero has a 2 racks to 1 lead in this race to 3. I don't know what Larry tried there. Acero looking to pot the 5 and come along the rail and get the bonus carom in the 3, but he's missed that. So now he's left having to make the carom now. And that's a good shot. But he's way off the pot on the 5 ball. And surely this time Larry's going to get to 90. Well, the obvious one here is pot the 1 and leave the easy carom from the 1 to the 5. And this next shot, he's going to push the 1 up towards the 3 and needs to be careful that he leaves the pot. He could block this off here, and he's actually played it too thin and missed the 5. Well, that's a mistake. And it's let Acero back in. And these are dangerous times for Larry. Acero now favourite to get to 90 and start eating into those caroms. I don't know whether he can get that thin enough, can he? That's really doubtful he's going to be able to do the carom from the 3 to the 5. Unless he misses the 5 when he punches through. Yep, he's okay. Just 1 point behind. Now an easy little force follow. Push the 1 up to the pocket, might even pot the 1 here. Well, now he's in a little bit of trouble. He's got either way, whatever ball he chooses here is a little tricky pot. He might actually draw the 1 onto the 3 here, because I don't know whether that's... No, his 5's been blocked by the 3, so it's going to be the little draw. Now, has he got a pot next? Where's the 1 ball going? Well, that's done him a favour. It's out of the way. And that leaves him a fairly simple carom. So acero into the 90s. Well, if he plays a draw again here, he needs to watch the bank on this 1 ball. Doesn't want to lose his points. Where's the cue ball going? Well, the 1 ball's done him another favour there, because it's pushed the 1 away, the cue ball away from the pocket, heading dangerously close to the scratch. And now the 1 ball's out of commission. Well, the big question is what does Larry do if he gets back to the table? The 1 ball's no good to him there, and the longer it stays there and the closer that acero gets to 100, the more dangerous the situation becomes. That's another good shot. Oh, that's unlucky. Yep, that is extremely unlucky. The 1 heading, or the cue ball heading straight to the 3 for the carom, and the 5 just got itself in the way and brushed the 3 away. But Larry's now in with his chance. Has an open table, so the first thing he needs to do is pot that 1 and get it away from the pocket. He's got an easy carom to follow. So now on 88. And now all he can do is pot the 1. Needs to pot it gentle. Doesn't want to risk the cue ball running up the table and scoring another point, in which case he loses his points in the visit. He doesn't get to 90. He goes over the score, so it's got to be just a gentle pot. As the match rapidly approaches 2.5 hours. And he's missed the 1. Now, acero's going to have to move that 1 ball away from there. It's no good where it is. He may well get the carom here, but he has to get it away from that pocket, or away from the 3 at least. Now, has Larry played his last shot in this match? There is a very strong likelihood it could be. And now the 1 ball is in the open, which is where acero wants it. If he can get these next 3 caroms. Well, he didn't get the English on it, and Larry breathes again. But Larry is going to have to play a carom to get the point. He can't pot the 1. There's going to have to be 2 rails onto the 5. And then probably off the rail and in behind the 1 would be the better shot, because it gets the 1 into the table. He just skimmed in behind it. Larry now into the 90s, but he's chasing acero. Acero with a 6-point lead, only 4 away from winning this match. And now Larry's got the 3 away from the pocket, and he's now got a chance. Now, does he take the risk and go 3 rails off the 1? That's a risky shot. He's looking to maybe draw it, but he could go that way. Onto the 5. He's played the draw, and he's got away with it. Could easily have spun into the pocket. And again, it has to be a feather-like touch. He doesn't want to send that 1 into the pocket. Got to be gentle. In fact, it's really got to be a light touch. Any movement and that 1 could go in. Trying to maybe come off the rail and chip it. No. Well, the 1's now back in that dangerous position for Larry. And he's potted a 5. And all Larry's hard work has all gone. And acero has ball in hand in the kitchen. He's got an easy starter from the 5 to the 3. And if he pushes the 5 down to the corner on the right hand side, he could be out. I thought he had ball in hand. No, he's potted a 5. What am I talking about? Keep your wits about you. He potted a 5. He didn't scratch. Still a fairly straightforward carom though. And now the 3 ball is coming down the table. And this to get to 99, and that 1 ball, he's missed it. The 1 ball is just sitting there waiting for the scratch off the 1. Larry lives again, but he's going to have to do all his hard work again. And he's missed the carom. Well, Larry's hanging on by his fingertips here. That 1 ball really has to be moved. And he might have run out of chances in moving it here, because acero is now on 99. And if he gets this right, this match is over. He has to just hope he gets lucky and the 1 doesn't squirt away here, so that he can just maybe draw in off it. He could get the little double kiss. And he's got it, and it's game, set and match to acero. And that 1 ball, well, Larry had chances to get rid of it and move it, and he didn't get it moved. And acero has run out the last 3 points he needs to win the match. So the match has just gone over 2.5 hours, and acero wins it by 3 racks to 1. And we'll have a quick look at the bracket and see what that does. Well, what it does is it sends Larry over to the 1 loss side. Now, where is he? There he is. And Larry's waiting on the winner of Whirlwind Walter and Sakul. Meanwhile, if we have a look at the bracket, we can see that Jose McEwen is set to play, well, it hasn't been set yet, but he's due to play Baker Maker in round 2. And the winner of that match will play this young chap here, Einball.com, who won his match this morning against X Games by 3 racks to 0. And then we have a first round match that's scheduled for, what date's this? Well, this is the 14th, so it's set for 6 o'clock, 25 minutes time, between Hustling Howie and Amy, who I've never seen play. And we've got Romario with Chris Ad, but nothing's been arranged in that match, so I think the deadline's today, is it not? Yes, it is. Deadline's 8 o'clock tonight. And, well, there's the result between Larry and Acero. Wan Wat, or Fan Fan, is set to play Vinces, and that should be a good match. And further down, we've got Zach, who's through to round 3. He beat Casino Jim in his last match. And then we've got another match, Real Poland Power and Interchange X, which is still to be arranged. We could go into further detail about that, but we won't. And Mark Shark has beaten Ice Age, who forfeited for whatever reason, I don't know. So that's how the tournament stands. And with that, folks, I don't think anybody's watching, but thanks for your company if you were. And I will bid you goodbye, and we will see you again soon.